Hey everybody, welcome to our first edition of Ask the Critics. I'm Rob.
Brendan.
And we want to thank you guys for for posting your questions for our promo video that we did. And we decided that we are going, for Ask the Critics, we're going to divide the questions up into categories. We had some horror questions, favorites, and stuff about upcoming movies. So what we're going to do first is we're going to ask the questions about our favorite stuff. So, okay. Obey the Giant 832 asks, "Hey guys, big fan, love watching reviews. My question is, what are your favorite Clint Eastwood movies?" So, Brendan?
Easily the Man with No Name trilogy. Those are my favorite Clint Eastwood movies, period. For a Few Dollars More is probably my favorite one out of three. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is a classic. Also, Outlaw Josie Wales is probably the best Clint Eastwood Western in terms of just him acting and being badass.
Yeah.
And God, outside of that, I don't really know if I pay attention too much to Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I like Good and the Bad, the Ugly, and Gran Torino. I also saw one called Play Misty for Me, which, I don't know, I didn't really get into that. And Dirty Harry I kind of liked, but it's not one of my favorite movies. So next is Mobe01. I know it's not a movie, but what did you guys think of the Lost series finale? So I don't watch Lost. What about you?
I do watch Lost, and I have been for a long time, and I guess I don't want to give away the ending to the series on this video, but I was satisfied. I was happy with it. It could have been way worse, but it wasn't a show about the answers.
Yeah, and
which is what I like.
Yeah, and Mobe also asked, "What are your five favorite Martin Scorsese films and why?" Well, I don't think we're gonna bother doing it. We don't have time to do a top five, but two films that I love from Martin Scorsese are Goodfellas and The Last Waltz, which is a documentary on the breakup of the band from the late 60s, early 70s. It's great concert footage, and the interviews I thought were a bit of a downfall for the weak spot for the movie, because I think sometimes it focuses too much on Robbie Robertson. Occasionally Levon Helm opens up and talks about stuff, but I think the concert footage is much better.
For me, Departed, I think, was the one he got Best Director for it, and rightfully so, but that one just, I thought was great. In terms of, no one does crime movies better than Martin Scorsese, and his movies, they're always professionals. They're the best guys at the job. You know, they make you want to be criminals, almost. Goodfellas does. And, you know, you look at something like Casino as well. I mean, the guy asked for us to do a top five. That's really easy because Martin Scorsese has just tons of great films.
Yeah, different genres too.
Oh yeah.
Although I think he's better at some genres than others.
Definitely, crime he'll go down in the books for, but you know, you look at something like Taxi Driver or Raging Bull. You know, those are another two classics that are, you know, outside the crime genre.
Okay, Lou2UK asks, "Hey guys, a regular Q&A video is a great idea." Okay, well thanks. What are your favorite TV shows and favorite TV shows? For me, I really like the old Doctor Who show from the 60s, 70s into the 80s. I really don't care too much for the new stuff. Modern Family, which is new from last season, I really think is a funny show, and I like the older Simpsons episodes.
I'm with you on the older Simpsons. Also, other shows I just love. Breaking Bad is without a doubt the best show on television right now, and I've been watching that since it started. If you're not watching it, you should be. What else? There's 24 that just ended. I love watching that. Lost, X-Files, Twin Peaks, The Twilight Zone is one of my favorites.
Yeah, classic.
And of course the early Simpsons episodes are some of the best television. The first 8 seasons I think are great.
Yeah.
But in more animated stuff, probably Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill. I mean, TV shows I can go on all day.
Yeah, I mean, and weird thing is, I don't hear much about the X-Files anymore, like back when it was on. Because usually, sometimes when a show ends, there's always still going to be like a big, strong following from people, and you hear about it like Star Trek. But really, I haven't really heard much, and I don't know if fans gave up on it or not. And the second movie that came out didn't do as well as the one that came out when it was still on.
It didn't do as well because it wasn't about aliens, unfortunately. You know, which is what a lot of people were kind of hoping. You know, they think X-Files, they think aliens. Although the show did a lot more than just alien stories. It was a great show, and I think if you're not familiar with it, definitely worth checking out.
Sure. Next favorite question is from Jack3 Sucker. What is your favorite band, Brendan?
Favorite band? Well, like, that's a hard question to be asked. I mean, it's like asking what's your favorite movie, period. I mean, it's really hard, but I don't have one, but I have a bunch probably, and among those would be Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, which is a must, Moving Sidewalks, 13th Floor Elevators, a lot of 70s rock music, recent stuff like Muse, for example. Someone just turned me on to Kid Cudi. There's music all over. I like everything. Rap, classical, rock, whatever. I'm into it.
Okay, great. And the last favorite question that we got is Mega Gerard 1234. Okay, he has got 4 questions for us. 1, what is your favorite horror movie? For me, it's the 1931 version of Frankenstein. I don't think you can go wrong.
Well, I do not have one favorite, unfortunately, but like I said, the music, but Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorites. Reanimator, the original Evil Dead. Well, Army of Darkness, if you count that, but I don't really. It's more of a comedy. Other horror movies like I liked the black and white Wolfman or other werewolf-related movies like The Howling and stuff like The Omen, or movies that generally have to do with demons or hell or something ridiculous. Or
those movies are way better than that Wolfman remake that we got a couple months ago.
Yes, all of them indeed. But another good one is Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Is one of my favorites. Even though it's also a comedy, but they do horror pretty well in it too.
Yeah, and it's good stuff. And they did some other horror comedies, but they weren't all quite as good as that one. Like Hold That Ghost was pretty good though, I think.
Yeah. It didn't have to do with them meeting any particular universal creature or anything.
Yeah.
But I'll agree with you. It was definitely head and shoulders better than most.
Yeah. And number 2, what is your favorite sci-fi movie? And for me, one of them is Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Yeah. Even though it's more of an action film, there is some sci-fi allegories and even some personal ones like finding oneself, aging and youth and old. So that's a good one there for a bit of everybody.
For me, The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing is the greatest science fiction movie ever made. Not to mention the greatest visual effects, practical effects, period. I don't think you can really top John Carpenter's The Thing. And
is Batman Returns good or bad? We kind of talked about this with our Batman video we did a few weeks ago, and personally, it used to be my favorite of the 4 Batman films from the Burton Schumacher series. To me, I watched it recently, and to me, it just doesn't hold up quite as well. It has a good look, but sometimes it can be a little bit too bizarre compared to Tim Burton's first Batman film. And like another thing I mentioned is the Penguin's obsession with women and sex. I think that I never got into that even when I was a kid. I never liked it, and I still don't, so I don't know why they did that.
I'm not as familiar with the movie as you are. I frankly, I had seen it recently, and it doesn't compare to Tim Burton's first Batman movie, in my opinion. Yeah. So, it's a sequel. It was made for the money.
Yeah, so I would probably say it's probably worth watching, but to me, it's just not as good as Tim Burton's first Batman movie. So.
Yeah.
And finally, what is your most favorite movie of all time from the 2000 to 2010 period? Well, when I got this question, 2 movies popped in my mind. In America and 25th Hour. In America was in limited release. It came out in 2003. It was about Irish immigrants who came to the U.S. in the early 80s. I really enjoyed that. And 25th Hour, directed by Spike Lee with Edward Norton. It's got great performances from Philip Seymour Hoffman and Edward Norton.
It's a great flick, period.
Yeah.
It's a good character movie.
Yeah, and when I watched it, I saw it more as a mystery, but then after I found out everything and I watched it again, to me it was more like I could see how people were reacting to the situations going around. Like Edward Norton's wondering, who might have set him up for a crime, and you get to experience his last day and all that stuff. It's a really wonderful picture, and if you haven't seen it, you've got to see it.
No one really brings it up. It's a shame. It's really a good flick. It kind of deals with... It has a lot of, some 9/11 things in there because it was made right after that. And I think that might be why it got kind of ignored. But it was a really good movie, and I think it's got a good message, too. My favorite would have to be a movie called Frailty, directed by Bill Paxton. It stars him and Matthew McConaughey, and it's a great movie about these 2 kids growing up with their father in the 70s, and their father gets a message from God that apparently he has to go around killing demons who are inhabiting people, and so they go around with their father killing these people, and they're not exactly sure if this is God telling him this or that their dad is nuts. And it's a really good movie that I think it's worth going back and taking a look at. I mean, it's one of the best horror movies I think in the last 10 years.
I'll have to check that out. I've never seen it. Actually, I've never really heard of it. So
it's a good flick. I caught it on TV once, and then I had to go out and buy it.
On TV, like on cable, or just regular TV?
It wasn't a made-for-TV movie. They were just showing it on television.
Okay, because I know sometimes they'll change stuff for TV for censorship reasons. So.
They probably did, but I eventually got to see the unrated one, or the rated one.
The original one.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for this video. Thank you. If we didn't get to your questions, we're going to get to them. Like I said, there's more videos to come. So thank you very much for watching, and catch you later.